A few short months ago, I became chairman of the Kennedy Center, and we completely reversed it. We reversed what was happening. We ended the woke political programming, and we're restoring the Kennedy Center as the premier venue for performing arts anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. This has the potential to be anywhere in the world. We're going to make it something that people can't even believe. We have some unbelievable plans, and ultimately, it's about the talent you get. Though, you can have a beautiful building. You can have nice marble walls. You can have nicely done columns, as I was saying. But if you don't have the talent on the stage, and we're going to get the best talent in the world. To that end, the world-renowned musical Les Mis had a phenomenal 5-week sold-out run this summer. It beat projected revenues by 35%. And we've raised over $10 million in private funds from a lot of generous donors.
Well, I guess everything's working well at the Kennedy Center. That's President Trump today making the announcement of who is going to be honored by the Kennedy Center. And the list is a good list. You've got Gloria Gaynor there on the list. You've got Kiss on the list. As it not, no, we're not saying your Kiss is on my list. That's yacht rock. We're talking about the band Kiss is on the list of who some of the honorees are going to be. Cool. Great. Wonderful. You've got George Strait on the list. I don't know if it means anything to anyone anywhere at all. Did I say hello, Tony Katz? Tony Katz said, what's going on, everybody? Good to be with you. Meaning that, the Kennedy Center is all fine and good, but it isn't how the rest of us think. We're thinking about the border. We're thinking about economy. We're thinking about our families. We don't have time for this. There's a story in everything, and everything has a story. It's just like the story of the D.C. cleanup. The story of the D.C. cleanup is not that, this is happening in D.C. Who cares? We don't live in D.C. D.C. doesn't matter to us. We care because this is about what happens when you take charge and who exactly is against you. What we hear culturally, time and again and again and again, is the left controls culture. Now, we should be clear that I would still argue, I'm a guy who has made that argument numerous times. That's true. That's factual. Whether we're talking about music, whether we're talking about actual art, whether we're talking about the written word, whether we're talking about film and television, the left leads in these cases. And it's a problem. And us giving up the very concept of culture, which we seeded for years, for decades, like education, which is also culture. These things have come back to bite us. What is true is that if indeed you take back what is yours, because it isn't for somebody else to decide what culture is, you get as much of a play as anybody else. Oh, they'll scream and they'll yell and they'll hoot and they'll holler and they'll call you names and they'll do all sorts of stuff. But in the end, people will go where the talent is. So they can scream about what happened at the Kennedy Center from now until the end of time. Who cares? If Les Mis was there and they made more money than they thought, that's the story. That's the whole entire story and nothing but the story. That's everything. The same thing is true for the cleaning up of the District of Columbia. Oh, the left is outraged. Outraged, I tell you, that Trump would be doing this, that he'd enlist, he'd federalize, and he'd get the National Guard, and they'd be there on the streets, and they'd be going after criminals. They've already got a couple dozen arrests going on. Well, this is all just political stunt, says CNN and the mayor of Kansas City.
And joining us now to talk more about this is the mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, Mayor Quentin Lucas. Mayor, thanks so much for coming in. It's good to see you. D.C. is distinct, of course, from other cities across the country. But do you think he'll try to do the same in Kansas City?
I think he will try to do the same in any American city that is good for politics. You saw the president have a list of cities he attacked, many of which have historic drops in violent crime, Baltimore among them. And I think what you are seeing here is nothing but rhetoric, political posturing, distraction from a domestic policy agenda where things may not be going the way of the administration, but it has nothing to do with saving lives on the streets of America's cities.
Of course it does, and the mayor is wrong. Then again, this is a mayor who thinks that Trump is going after black mayors. Oh, I'll get to that. This idea that crime is down is so certifiably insane as to be believed. That is not me saying that the data doesn't say it. The data says it. The data says that crime is down. To rely on, well, crime is down, what are you complaining about, is one of the more psychotic concepts out there. And when I have to turn to S.E. Cupp these days to make it make sense for the left, well, I mean, that's saying a whole bunch of something.
Democrats are sort of falling into a trap here of Donald Trump's making. Yeah, I think a few things can be true. One is that I think he's using this issue to distract for some other things. That doesn't mean it's a bad political strategy. I think it's a very good one. And the numbers can be what they are, but also people don't feel that way. And when it comes to two things, crime and the economy, feelings don't really care about your facts. And I can't tell you how profoundly stupid it is for Democrats to get up with their facts and their figures and their charts and their graphs and say, look, you're safe. Can't you read this chart, idiots? Why are you complaining? I'm showing you right here how safe you are, so shut up and move along. I don't have to tell you how profoundly stupid that is because voters told you how profoundly stupid that was in 2024 when Democrats said, see these economic numbers? The economy's great. What are you complaining about? See these crime numbers? Crime's down. You're safe. See these immigration numbers? Obama deported way more. There's no migrant crisis. I can't tell you enough that politics is perception and the numbers can be right, but you never tell voters they're wrong about how they feel.
That's not the perfect ending there, Essie. You almost had it. Perception is reality. Politics is perception. That much is true. You never tell the voter they're wrong when they're right. When telling them they're wrong is a lie. Everything that the left did about the economy, about the border, was all lie. They lied every step of the way. They don't know any other way. If there are 100 crimes in the city last year, and this year there are 97 crimes, and you say, see, crime is down, that makes you crazy. And that's exactly where the left is on this subject. They are so incapable of engaging a conversation, pushing forward an idea. This is about safety and security. And the left says, how dare you? It's all just a cheap political stunt. By the way, that's something they say, but they don't know what the stunt is. You think, well, it's to distract from the issues with the economy. Things are expensive. We're paying tariffs. The deals, well, they haven't materialized into, we haven't seen results yet because they just got started. We're not distracted. We want the Jeffrey Epstein files. We're not distracted. We want to deport every illegal immigrant and make sure every Tren de Aragua gang member is either gone or dead. We are not distracted. This is one of the great myths, this idea that somehow we're not focused. Now, distractions do exist. And while we focus on these things, it is clear that there may be other things we are not focused on. But this is not a distraction, Trump doing this in D.C. This is what people voted for. And I will say it again. It is messaging just like the Kennedy Center conversation. They said we couldn't clean up the Kennedy Center, fix this, clean that, change this, do that, modernize this, and get a result. And the answer is, of course we can. And we have. And we're moving forward because those people don't own culture. Culture belongs to all of us, and we are going to impart our thoughts into it and see where we go from there. We're going to see whether people buy in. Culture is safe streets. And the left is fine with a culture of not having safe streets, but don't say anything because otherwise you're a bigot. And our answer is screw off. We don't care if you call us bigots. You think it matters if Ana Navarro calls us a racist, or Sonny Hostin, or the mayor of D.C., or the mayor of name your city? Who cares? The mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma calls you a racist. The mayor of Peoria, Illinois calls you a racist. Do you care? Or are you interested in safe streets and you're going to talk about the fact that right now these aren't safe? Or that the garbage collection didn't happen, or that the snow removal didn't happen. The left wants you to believe that everything is fine. I actually have exclusive audio. I had it right here. I have exclusive audio of the political left speaking right now to their voters in cities all across the country. This is a message to cities. What do you want? How do you want to be? How do you want things to happen? What do you want to do? Because it doesn't have to be the way it has been. You can have better. And you, the voter, can have better. Because you, the voter, know. You, the resident, know. You, the citizen, know that things aren't okay. And you need massive wholesale changes. And your sadly, the people you elect locally, they're not going to make any wholesale changes. They're beholden to a party that keeps losing. Hakeem Jeffries keeps losing, and Chuck Schumer keeps losing, and the ladies of The View are a laughable bunch of fools. The only people who take them seriously are left-wing Karens who have no political clout and aren't interested in your best interests. But there's President Trump, who's cleaning up a city for people who hate him. There are moments of overkill. There are moments of too much. There are moments of, wait a second, I don't know if the authority actually exists there. Those moments do happen, and we should be aware of those moments. But in every single moment here, Trump has well been within his rights and his powers as president of the United States to engage as he's been engaging. And right now, the word on the street is that people are like, good, let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. He cleaned up the Kennedy Center, which had not had refurbs. There was wasted money. There's a whole bunch of things. And now he's making nominations. And let's see if more people come out to the Kennedy Center than ever before. Now he's saying, let's clean up D.C. because Mayor Bowser and the left refuse to do this. If he is successful, well, then other governors are going to say, well, how do I clean up my cities? If he can do it, so can I. And if he can do it, the people can then say, well, there's a way to get this done. Why aren't my Democrat elected and whatever they are doing this? The reaction to how dare Trump is hilarious. The reaction, oh, it's just a political stunt. No one cares. As long as the law is being followed and the crime is going down, like actually going down, like palpably going down, to where the people feel safe to walk the streets. If that's what Trump does, people are going to say, well, I guess his way works, and I guess that leftist way doesn't. Because when it comes to the Kennedy Center, well, that's clearly the case. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. Can I tell you that put my screen for the live stream into dark mode, and it's freaking me out? Why is it? All we did is change the background from white to black, and yet somehow I feel like I have no idea what's going on. Am I the only one that happens to? Or it's like, this is very weird. Anyway, Tony Katz today. The things that I observe, people. It is what it is. Find everything at TonyKatz.com. Good to be with you. Oh, man, what else do we have? I had that. I've got Schiff and Swalwell. These two. These horrific people. I've got that right there. That goes right there. Okay. What do you guys got for me? What do you know? What's going on? All right. Okay. Glad you guys are here. Easy day today. This is a Buffalo 10 Maduro right here. Box press from Artista. Really simple cigar. Dollar for dollar. Incredible value. I think it's like $7 a stick. Might be $6. Just a good, great golf course cigar because it's got flavor, but it's not going to overwhelm. And you can lay it down on the cart. And if it falls into the sand trap, because you know you're going in a sand trap, you're fine with it. And of course, Von Riest, look at that in the cornflower blue. That is a beaut right there. Get yours from vonriest.com. Use promo code CATS and get your discount. Von Riest, RIESTE, vonriest.com. Use promo code CATS. Assembled right here in America, in Indiana. Beautiful timepieces. Pass them down through the generations. We're not talking about anything disposable. Something you can actually hold on to and is worthy of holding on to. Von Riest, check them out for yourself. RIESTE, vonriest.com. Use promo code CATS and get your discount.
Statehood is ridiculous. We want to straighten the place out. Statehood's ridiculous. It's unacceptable. It's the Democrats want it because the Democrats have, about 95% in this little area. Even I didn't get it very much. They want that. They want to pick up 2 senators, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that's the least of the reasons why, by the way, but that's one of the reasons why. What we want to do is make Washington, D.C., the greatest, most beautiful, safest capital anywhere in the world, and that's going to happen.
Yeah, good. But Democrats want 2 senators and they can't have it. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. I mean, I'm glad he said it. President Trump there speaking at the Kennedy Center. Of course, this is why Democrats want statehood. They want 2 senators. We know this to be the case. I was thrilled to hear him say it because that's where the honesty is. There is now a lot of back and forth about E.J. Antoni. E.J. Antoni, economist that we have had on the show regularly, was selected by President Trump to lead the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And I'm thrilled for him, chief economist at the Heritage Foundation. I did chat with him a little bit today via text. Man, the long knives are out. That much is true. Oh, he's not qualified. Oh, he's not capable. Oh, he's going to do whatever Trump wants. Why is it so strange that somebody aligned with Trump would get an appointment by Trump? You mean Joe Biden had people in these positions who weren't aligned? It's just nonsense. If every single jobs report came out with these big numbers, and then a month later were revised downward, 2 months later were revised downward, couldn't we state out loud that there's something wrong with the methodology? There's something wrong with how we do this, or you people are flat out lying. Which one is it? Well, this is the Wall Street Journal. Trump advisors consider changes to how government collects jobs data. Well, no crap. Funny, I know a guy on radio who's been saying this for the past couple weeks. The name rhymes with Tony Katz. We have been discussing this for weeks. There's a problem in the methodology. Let's discuss that. Why in the world would we keep doing the same old, and getting these results that aren't connected to reality? The data sets change. Where they come from change. Why not look at that and ask ourselves if we are getting better results? How about, as they're discussing it, better response rates to Bureau of Labor Statistics surveys? Instead, all you're hearing is an attack on E.J. Antoni. Here's what I know. E.J. Antoni is more qualified than me to run the Bureau of Labor Statistics. After that, I have no idea what the qualifications would be. I was told that Pete Hegseth was not qualified to run the Defense Department. Then we engaged a bombing raid on Iran that nobody knew was coming, nobody knew what happened, and the entire world got faked out by a couple of B-2 bombers heading west. What? He texted on Signal? Yeah, which was an approved methodology via the Biden administration. But you're right. If we don't want people utilizing the app Signal to text when we're talking about, I don't know, serious issues of the government, let's go build another system. I'll agree with that. But they told us he wasn't capable. Turns out he might very well be capable. So then them screaming incapable doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. E.J. Antoni, he's more qualified than I am. But the real story here is how we do data collection. And if that needs to be changed, let's change it. This is Tony Katz today. So I got to figure out, the only thing I don't have done yet in the whole live streaming system is, how do you all hear the station? And so you can hear the music counting down and everything else. I got to be able to route that back to you. That's what I got to do. Let's see. Yeah, I know. I also noticed it looks fine. Everything looks good. I get myself crazy about the camera stuff. Don't forget, August 23rd, tickets.tonykatz.com. They are selling. Ooh, we are going to get ourselves a sellout. We are going to, as of this morning, it was only like 50 or 60 tickets left. We are going to get ourselves a sellout. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Myself, you've got Nick Searcy, From Hollywood to the Heartland. It's going to be so good. The barbecue, the cigars afterwards. I've got desserts. I've got 3 incredible bourbons to try from a group called West Fork Whiskey in Westfield, Indiana. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Honestly, if you're not going, the terrorists win. That's all there is. That's it. You got to be there. It's going to be incredible. Look at that. Look at that. Look at me smiling, so happy. Look at Nick Searcy there when he had a jawline. He may still have a jawline. I haven't seen him in person in a little bit. From Hollywood to the Heartland. It's going to be incredible. Going to be such a good night. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Get your tickets as soon as you can. I'd appreciate that. All right. Schiff and Shaw, and I keep saying it wrong because, well, I do. Schiff and Swalwell. Talk about 2 of the lowest of the low individuals. Terrible, awful human beings. And how they lied. Let me see what else we've got here. Make sure I've got everything I need. right there. Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. There it is. To answer the question, I am working on doing my own cigar. It's been a long time coming. It's just that you don't do it on a lark. You got to find the right group. You gotta find the right blend. It has to work for your palate, and then you hope that works for other people's palate. I wouldn't make a cigar that I wouldn't smoke. I just wouldn't do it. So I hope to get this done. I don't think it'll be done in 2025, but I do hope to get it done. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Adam Schiff approved classified Russiagate leaks to discredit Trump. This, according to a whistleblower. We live in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty. We live in a country where evidence must be produced and proven beyond any reasonable doubt someone's guilt. I believe in this. I want this. And I will say to you that Adam Schiff, in the eyes of the law, is innocent until proven guilty. Of this, there is no question in my mind. To an absolutely equal degree, Adam Schiff is guilty. There is no doubt in my mind. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Find everything at TonyKatz.com if you would. And don't forget some of our great people who take care of the show, including Flederman Von Riest, the watch that you're going to pass down through the generations. Von Riest, Rieste, VonRiest.com. Incredible watches assembled in Indiana where I live. Beautiful timepieces. Check them out for yourself. Von Riest, Rieste, VonRiest.com, and use my last name, Katz, to get your discount. Incredible stuff. You're going to love it. The story goes that a whistleblower said that then Congressman Adam Schiff authorized the leak of classified information related to the Russian collusion investigation of 2017. The documents were given to Congress by the FBI Director Kash Patel. The whistleblower, who's a career intelligence officer, worked for the Democrats on House Intel for more than a decade, notifying the FBI in 2017 of Schiff's behavior. This all got reported by Just the News, right? So this got reported by John Solomon. The story continues that the intelligence officer considered the classified leaking to be unethical, illegal, and treasonous. Those are exact quotes. But he was told not to worry about it because Schiff would be spared prosecution under the Constitution's speech and debate clause. So, man, we're going a little bit deep into the weeds about how people can say things in the House or in the Senate and somehow escape the type of issues that you and I would have speaking in the real world. Catherine Herridge, in a follow-up to this, formerly of CBS, independent reporter, people like her, people hate her, I don't care. I only care if the reporting's good, has access to what's known as the 302. Now, the 302 is the form or what you call something when you do an interview in the FBI. We heard a lot about this regarding Joe Biden, the 302s, about Hunter Biden, about those associated with him. We heard about the 302s when dealing with the Steele dossier and whether or not Christopher Steele or his subsources were in any way credible. According to the FBI report, this 302 which is redacted. So the subject of the interview, that name has been redacted. But it appears to Catherine Herridge in her reporting that this is somebody who was a member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. And the report, quote, noted Swalwell has been the source of a lot of leaked information and had to be counseled to be more careful. She reached out to Representative Swalwell for comment. There will be no comment forthcoming from this anti-American jerk, both of them, Swalwell and Schiff. You can argue, hey, it's California. There's something in the water. It's something with progressivism. There's really not, in my view, any debate about what happened and what was happening. Just in the same way that the Hillary Clinton okayed the lies about the Steele dossier, okayed the lies about claiming Trump and Russia, how the Obama White House clearly backed this up and tried to cover this up through their own actions, meaning Barack Obama is 10,000% guilty and allowed this to happen and gave the wink and nod to it happening. James Comey and James Clapper and John Brennan, the then CIA director, and others, they all did this. The objective was to harm Donald Trump, to attack Donald Trump with as much viciousness as possible, really to attack you, so you did not get the president you voted for, so he would be immobilized. That was the plan. Schiff did this. He did this. Now, for those of you who don't remember, there is no question that Adam Schiff said that he had proof. Absolute proof. He had seen the proof of Russian collusion. He said the words.
But you admit it's all you have right now is a circumstantial case.
Actually, no, Chuck. I can tell you that the case is more than that, and I can't go into the particulars, but there is more than circumstantial evidence now. So, again, I think...
So you have seen direct evidence of collusion?
I don't want to go into specifics, but I will say that there is evidence that is not circumstantial and is very much worthy of investigations.
That was a lie. I want Schiff prosecuted. I want the investigation to take place. I want to see if the evidence stacks up so you can engage a prosecution, and then I want him prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I want to see his mugshot, which will be nowhere near as cool as Trump's mugshot, but I'm going to put it on a t-shirt. By the way, to the extent of how you can market these things, when Trump announced, or I should say that Kristi Noem announced that they were going to do one of those alligator Alcatrazes in Indiana, and they were going to call it the Speedway Slammer, I said, man, I'm not a super big fan of the name, but I really should get the domain name and sell the gear. So I found out that Speedway Slammer was taken. So I put in an offer to buy Speedway Slammer. And they came back with a counter of $15,000. True story. So help me. So I do not own a Speedway Slammer. I do not own SpeedwaySlammer.com. But I do own the SpeedwaySlammer.com. So I do own that. Man, t-shirts coming soon. If anybody would like to design some Speedway Slammer t-shirts, that would be great. I'll be sure you get yours from it. By the way, it went through, right? Like I did. Yeah, hold on, manage my registrations. I did this the other day. I did this when it happened. I will gladly put Schiff's a mugshot on a t-shirt and sell it, no question. These things took place. And while you're right, and our conversation is right, it might be very difficult to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. It might be very, very, very difficult for us to be able to get all the pieces together. We don't have to have that kind of bar in the court of public opinion. The court of public opinion, we know exactly what happened, and we know how it happened. We know why it happened, and we know that these people flat out hate us, and they'll do anything for power and anything to destroy those who get in their way, and they've proven it. So you now have this handed over to Kash Patel, FBI director. Now Congress has it. Kash Patel writing on X, we found it, we declassified it. Now Congress can see how classified info was leaked to shape political narratives and decide if our institutions were weaponized against the American people, which of course they were. And everybody knows it. Everybody is aware of it. This is what happened. While we cannot, in any way, shape, or form, we cannot force the a prosecution to happen. Right? Can't be done. What we can do is make sure these people never win again. We can only do what we do. We can only hope for what we hope for. We can hope that he's prosecuted. We can ensure they don't win. And we need to. We need to aggressively. We need to make sure that those people who were in the business of providing cover for terrorist organizations like the UNRWA and Hamas, but I repeat myself, they don't get to keep power. The story is that the Hamas tunnels, these terror tunnels built by Hamas under hospitals and under schools, according to Mike Huckabee, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, Hamas used the aid from the United States and others to build these tunnels. Mike Huckabee telling Newsmax they could have built Singapore in Gaza, but they rather turned it into Haiti. 88% of the UN food going through the checkpoints gets stolen or looted by Hamas. Hamas made $500 million last year stealing aid. These Hamas are not people who can be trusted. These are not people who are even human. And when you talk about how they treat other human beings, their own quote unquote people who they don't care about. And yet somehow we give them, we allow money to happen to the UN that goes to UNRWA, the United Nations Relief Works Agency, that then goes to these terrorists. Somehow we still allow those people who violate our trust, we allow them to get reelected. We got to use the system to try and stop them, but we're the first step. Can't vote for these people, and your kids can't either. It's time to stop saying, hey, your kids, you can still love them. It doesn't have to be political. There are some things that you should be getting loud about. I'll discuss more of that. Keep it here. It's Tony Katz today. Can I tell you, I'm sweating. My studio got very warm. I don't know. My air works. I'm going to see if I can't freeze myself out just a little bit. Yes, so I do, by the way, own the Speedway Slammer. That is happening. So if we've got designs, I'll pay for the designs. Gladly do it. But I do own it. There it is. See it. See it right here. Thank you very much. But no, I was not going to pay $15,000 for Speedway Slammer. Was not going to do that. What else do we got, guys? I don't know. I feel like today's a very kind of lazy, hazy day. You know, sometimes there's news stories aplenty and it's all intense. And sometimes it's just a little more philosophical. I think that's today. But I'm really focused on this idea of it's we can't do anything about the things we can't do anything about. What is it? There's a what do you call it? A prayer? There's a saying. You know, the what can I change? What can't I? The knowledge to know the difference. You know what I'm talking about. But one of the things that we don't focus on is actually changing the things you can, doing something about the things you can do something about. We are not simply observers taking the punches and, oh, well, there are things we can do and things we should do. That's my argument. That's my point. That's my take. So with that, okay. I just more and more that's on my head. More and more, I think that is that it? Is it the Serenity Prayer? Is that what it's called? I'll believe you. I'll take your word for it. I believe that's it. I believe that you are correct there. Yeah, it's just that I think that part of that is it's not serenity. Maybe it's action. We forget the action part of that conversation, and I don't want to forget that part. I think that part is a very, very important. One man's take. When are we back? We're about to come back to the radio show. Excellent, Smithers. Not bad. It's not bad, Mr. Burns there. I don't know if I was having this conversation with you or on my morning show about energy bills. And there's a real big conversation about data centers out there. You know, they want to build these data centers, and Meta and Google and all these places need these data centers. And, you know, so it's basically these huge prison-like buildings, and they take a ton of energy. Tony Katz today, what's going on? Now, there's a question of who works at these data centers. Are Americans hired there, or are these are these H-1B visas? I get them confused. H-1B visa, right? That's what they are. This is people who are allowed, who come over for work. I believe that's right. If I have it wrong, tell me. We'll call them visa holders. And they're coming from other countries. Is that who we're building these centers for? And they're going to have all the jobs. There might be some jobs that, okay, we don't have enough Americans to cover. You need a specific skill set. We only have so many people who have that skill set in the country, right? That would be true of anywhere. And so you have to hire outside the country after you've hired from within the country. But the story is the energy, because it takes a crap ton of energy to run these centers. And I saw that Bethany Mandel had the story over there at the New York Post, for example, that New Jersey's electric bills have tripled this summer. And this is not because of data centers. This is just because of the rising costs, the creeping up, we increase it here, we increase it there. You've got property taxes up in New Jersey. They're already the highest that you've ever. Property taxes in New Jersey are so criminally insane, it cannot be discussed. And it's a conversation now. Car insurance is up and home insurance is up and health insurance is up. No one's talking about the insurances but us. Finally, I'm starting to see this. There are real cost increases everywhere. Trump is better off for us than Biden-Harris. But things are still going up, and they were going up even before Trump. These things are an issue. Energy prices are going up. You're always seeing these rate increases. Well, if you've got these data centers going on, they take so much energy that not only will the rate go up because there's only so much that can be produced and not new places being put online, you're now saying, well, the data center needs it because, we have to have these jobs. That's a real issue. That's a real problem. How do we solve this energy issue? And one of the first questions that should be asked, I actually had this conversation with the governor of Indiana this morning regarding data centers in my state, and this is true of Oklahoma, true of Illinois, true of Michigan. Do we want these data centers? You're the state of Louisiana. Do you really want data centers in your state? So maybe the question is different. Do we want data centers in our country? I would like to know what the win is. What's the win of bringing this business here? Because right now I'm not 100% sure I see it. I'm Tony Katz. Not everything, just got done with the radio side, not everything is good business. Oh, I know the data centers mean growth for these tech companies, but maybe that's not the part of the business we want. Maybe somebody else has to have the data center. Maybe we want them because we've got a better opportunity for the safety and security of the data of Americans in those data centers. To the extent that it is our data, not just the company's data. But this thing that we're seeing about energy costs going up is very real. And these data centers, this is about more cost. I don't know if we want it. Here is the story, guys. Here is where we are right now. The radio show is in break. So that means we are in break. And Adam, thank you, man. I appreciate that you listen. I really do. Thank you. It's very cool. It's very cool that anybody does. Honestly, it's just unbelievable. It's nuts. So I'm glad you're here. Can't thank you guys enough. We're going to take the break. You take the break. We'll be back in a little bit past the top of the hour, and we've got more show to do. The cartel story. I didn't do the cartels. The cartels, the criminals, I have got it all. So keep it here, hang loose, and we'll be back in just a bit, guys. Keep it here. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today, the Buffalo 10 Maduro. When I do the show, it's not like I'm smoking my all-time favorite cigars. I smoke cigars that I think are excellent at price point, especially when it's up and down and I'm talking and I'm not able to always get back to it. It matters. So this is a box press, right? Squared off like that. The box press is there's a couple different stories about what a box press is for. One of them is utilized by the rollers in Cuba as they were rolling outdoors, and so the wind didn't blow their cigar off. There's a couple of different ways to look at this. One is, maybe the cigars that came out were having a little bit of a defect. 100 ways to look at it. I like that story. They're also great for purpose. Like if you're working around the house, you need to lay it down. Easy to do, won't roll away. Golf course, I think the box press on a golf course is an absolute must. Put it right there on the cart. Done. I know they've got the things you can clip on and all that stuff. It just makes life so easy. Boom, pick it back up. You're good to go. If I golfed, I would only have box presses on the golf course. After the golf course, that's a whole different thing. So I'm working, so I'm using a working cigar. And then when I'm not working, I use a not working cigar or two or three. Anyway, you guys know I host Eat, Drink, Smoke, the largest cigar and bourbon radio review show in the country. Go to eatdrinksmokeshow.com or get the podcast wherever it is you get your podcast. Eat, Drink, Smoke. You should do that. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe there. Eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Easy to get to, easy to do the whole thing. We're going to start the radio show, so let's do that. I'm glad you're here. Good stuff happening.
So it's time to stop apologizing when we're not wrong. And it's time to stop surrendering when we need to fight. And yes, folks, we are messing with Texas.
So brave. So brave. It's always good when the governor of Illinois admits that we are interfering in the affairs of another state. That must play well amongst governors. No? Yes? These people. You understand that the Texas Democrats who ran away because they wouldn't engage the concept of redistricting, they all look like fools. It's all absolutely embarrassing for them. Shameful stuff.
We invested in violence prevention and we reduced violent crime across the entire state of Illinois. And we finally beat the NRA and banned assault weapons.
I will give anybody who is right now cheering J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, $1 bajillion if they can define what an assault weapon is. We finally defeated the NRA. Yeah, tell that to Chicago. But wait, it isn't the NRA that thinks this is okay. It's not the NRA that supports the going out and killing people across Chicago. It's not the NRA that says don't do anything about it. It's not the NRA that says stand down, police. It's not. You know this. You're aware of this. Who am I talking to? But the embarrassment that is the Democratic Party. You think you can win this way? Sure. Hey, boo-boo, knock yourself out. Let's see what happens. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Find everything at TonyKatz.com. But here's the big one right here.
Immigrants who are obeying the law and paying their taxes, hoping one day to become U.S. citizens, don't deserve to be grabbed off the street and shipped off to Libya without due process.
That's not happening. That's a lie. That is not happening. No one is getting shipped off to Libya who isn't here illegally. Notice what it is he said. This is extremely, extremely important.
Immigrants who are obeying the law.
We're not talking about immigrants. This is the great misdirect. It's always important to point it out when you hear it, when you see it, because some people may not be aware that this happens. The great misdirect is what J.B. Pritzker is doing here, who I'm calling a liar. He is lying. We are not discussing legal immigrants. We are discussing illegal immigrants, people who are in the country illegally. But the left, who refuses to honestly address any situation at any time, refers to everybody in the group of legal and illegal immigrants as immigrants. So not only do they obfuscate on the idea of illegal, they insult the people who are here legally and try and fearmonger for them, with them, to them, at them. I don't know. I guess it depends on how you say it. What he is discussing is not happening. It is not real. What is real is that these Democrats who ran away look the part of the fool. Because while they screamed they were standing up for democracy, redistricting is a political issue to which they need to vote on, and instead of voting and representing their people and possibly losing, making their case and maybe turning somebody's mind, maybe getting somebody on your side, they said, nope, that's too much like work. And they go to Illinois, because that's where you go when you're running away from a vote. That's what Wisconsin they did, and they ran to Illinois in 2011. Indiana Democrats did that and ran to Illinois. I think it's great. The Indiana Democrats went to Chicago to have a press conference with the Texas Democrats. Oh, we're going to stand up and support you guys. What you guys are doing is so great. And the Texas Democrats have already admitted, yeah, we're going back to Texas. We have to. So the Indiana Democrats decided to go on the day. The Texas Democrats were like, yeah, this was dumb. We lost. Timing, man. I'll tell you what. But they ran away instead of doing their job. Sometimes you lose, but you stand up and you make the argument. You don't run. You don't run away. And they look the fool, and it is to watch the left think that this has been valuable for them, important for them, good for them. Oh my gosh. And now you've got Beto O'Rourke. I can't even share all the audio. We should be redistricting every blue state. We should be getting rid of Republicans in every level. No member of Congress from these states should be Republicans. They're flat out saying it. We shouldn't allow these things to happen. Notice what they said. They said that what Republicans are doing in Texas, which is fully within the law, although you may disagree with what they're doing, they said it was a threat to democracy. It was an attack on democracy. And then they immediately said, we should do exactly the same. Now, when the Democratic Party has to go to Beto O'Rourke, the former congressman, perennial candidate, loser in Texas, to be the cheerleader, I mean, that's saying something. But Gavin Newsom, if Texas does this, we're going to redistrict in California. And now they're saying, why are we even wasting time? Let's just redistrict. Again, this conversation of projection. They point at you and say, look what he's doing. This is what they're doing, or really what they want. The real story of redistricting is that the left is outraged, most of all, by the fact that the political right is engaging in something that they do, have done, or want to do. That's it. And then, there's this fantastic little piece from J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois.
We built a firewall around civil rights in this state, and we turned this state into a safe haven for women's reproductive rights.
Translation, welcome to Illinois. We love abortions. It's what he said. It's what he said. I don't know what are you looking at me for? It's what he said. This is their great grand argument. Run away when the job has to be done, but don't forget, be an abortion mill, and that's good enough. Dear Lord. That is something right there. If we were to believe everything that the left has told us, they would tell us that everything they do is great and everything that the Republicans and political right does is evil, and that everything is fine and you should be ashamed of yourself for noticing. We discussed this earlier. When you notice that there's crime, they say, how dare you? And then they show you some statistic that says crime is down 3%. Isn't this wonderful? It's not wonderful. It's madness. It's absolute madness. We do have issues in cities large and small across the country with crime and with the lawlessness. And specifically to the idea of illegal immigrants, we have an issue. They make the argument that says more Americans, more citizens commit crimes than immigrants. First, again, with the lie, the difference between the immigrant and the illegal immigrant. But secondly, since there are more citizens than there are illegal immigrants, one would clearly understand that Americans could, by the numbers, by percentages, be engaged in more crimes than illegal immigrants. But that's not a cogent argument, nor a rational argument. Well, if it's not cogent, it's not rational, probably. It's not an argument at all, because the response is, if there were no illegal immigrants in the United States, the number of crimes that illegal immigrants would commit would be zero. Could commit would be zero. That's the argument. You see, the American citizen is an American citizen. So now we have to go about cultural changes to reduce crimes. But the illegal immigrant is not an American citizen, does not have the rights of the American citizen, and they can be removed from the country. Therefore, I should say, thus eliminating their opportunity to commit a crime in the United States. I mean, that's not even hard to come to. It's not. That is not a tough thing to come to. Tom Homan, who is the border czar, which, okay, admittedly, I hate the term border czar. I hate all of that czar talk. Absolutely. Can't stand that stuff. But according to Tom Homan, when you take a look at ICE arrests.
Repeat the D.C. model to crack down on crime in other major cities, including Chicago, Los Angeles, New York. Aren't these moves part of an administration-wide effort to restore the Constitution and the rule of law to all of us, blue jurisdictions included?
Well, absolutely. And the president made a commitment several weeks ago that we're going to prioritize so-called sanctuary cities run by Democrats, where we're going to flood the zone with additional ICE agents, because we know we have a problem there. We know they're releasing public safety threats back in the community that aren't supposed to be here. They're in the country illegally. So we're already tripled down on that, and President Trump's going to bring more resources. I'm all behind the president, because the men and women of ICE are making this country safer every day, because they're taking public safety threats off the street by the hundreds every single day across this country.
Now, according to Tom Homan, 70% of ICE arrests are of criminals. That's a pretty big number. That's a pretty big number. 70% of everybody we arrest is a criminal, a public safety threat. The other 30% could be national security threats who don't have criminal histories, gang members that don't have criminal histories. Final orders, those people who have had due process at great taxpayers' expense, a federal judge has ordered them deported. It's ICE's job to locate them and deport them. So the idea of not having due process isn't happening, right? It is happening, and it is clear through the Supreme Court that there are different levels of due process. The citizen is different than the lawful permanent resident, different than the person who's crossed the border illegally. They are different. And most importantly, this is what America voted for. This is what they wanted, and they're getting just that. They are getting that. When it comes to the border, when it comes to the safety thing, which relates back, of course, to what we're seeing in Washington, D.C., this is what people stand up and cheer. They're saying, good. Our mayors won't do this, or some governors won't do this. People won't push back against this criminal element. We have to vote for people who will push back against this and stop it and make things safer. Within the confines of the law, absolutely. And the law, the Constitution for American citizens, we come first. There's nothing wrong with that. That is not an unwelcoming statement. We are a welcoming nation. I welcome every illegal immigrant that wants to be part of America. If you want America to be where you came from, well, then I don't welcome you, because what you want is terrible, because what you came from, the nation you came from, is awful. I know this because you came here. If you want to be here, you got to do it our way. If you want to stay there, that's fine. Do it your way. But here we have a way, and you got to do it our way. And we should be very, very insistent about that. Very, very, very insistent that it's done our way. 1,000%. These things are working. Removing the criminal element is working. Focusing on illegal immigrants is working. And if people like the progressive governor of Illinois want to say it's wrong and want to lie about immigrants and not discuss illegal immigrants, well, I think it's our job to expose. It's our job to mock. It's our job to call them a liar. And again, to make sure they never win another election. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back. Tony Katz. Tony Katz Today. What is going on with you? Hold on. You're right. You're right. Our YouTube numbers are low. We're working on it. Did you think that this was going to stop me? More people watch on Twitter than watch on YouTube. It's okay. We'll get there. But I was curious. Your post there. I am neither misguided by hate or division, but good effort. Did you think you were going to stop me? Just wondering how you think this works. Why would you think for a second that you would stop me? We stream to YouTube. We haven't caught on YouTube yet. It's okay. We'll get there. Doing very well in the other places. I'm happy with it. I'm thrilled with the growth. It's great. Listen, I get the fact that you disagree with me, but you can't stop me. If you think I pay attention to these things, if you think you can get it, I mean, this is all you've got. Me, I'm doing this. I want to share these thoughts and these ideas, and I've got this radio show that plays across the country, and I want it to play in more places across the country. These things take time, boo-boo. Some people on the digital side, man, do they explode. That has never happened for me. You want to see my ratings? Thank goodness they're really good. It's okay. I don't judge myself based on what your view of success is. Only my own. I don't owe anything to anyone except this guy. So go on. Come at me if this is what makes you happy. Or go create your own content, man. But if you listen, you might enjoy it. Huh? All right. Good talk. Good talk. President Trump, what was he asked? Do I have this right? He's threatening a national emergency? I'm not quite sure how this works. Tony Katz today. Here's what the president was asked and what he said.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Your federalization of the police has a 30-day limit unless Congress acts to extend it. Are you talking to Congress about extending it, or do you believe 30 days is sufficient?
Well, if it's a national emergency, we can do it before Congress very quickly. And again, we think the Democrats will not do anything to stop crime, but we think the Republicans will do it almost unanimously. So we're going to need a crime bill that we're going to be putting in, and it's going to pertain initially to D.C. We're going to use it as a very positive example. And we're going to be asking for extensions on that, long-term extensions, because you can't have 30 days. 30 days that's by the time you do it. We're going to have this in good shape. And don't forget, in the border, everyone said it would take years and you'd have to go back to Congress. I never went to Congress for anything. I just said, close the border. And they closed the border. And that was the end of it. I didn't go back to Congress. We're going to do this very quickly, but we're going to want extensions. I don't want to call national emergency. If I have to, I will. But I think the Republicans in Congress will approve this pretty much unanimously.
We will see whether they do that or not. We'll see whether or not they declare it. And it's because there are certain rules about what it is that the president can do. This again goes to the idea that somehow Trump is the guy overreaching when the left does nothing. As a matter of how this plays out, because I don't get me wrong, the law has to be followed. If you want to change the law, change the law. In the court of public opinion, this is all different. Much, much, much different. Oh, and I promised I would share this from the mayor of Kansas City. Do I have this? Where the mayor of Kansas City believes that Trump is talking about fixing cities, and he's going after black mayors. It is surreal that you want to take making cities safer and say, well, Trump's only doing this so he can go after black mayors. You can throw all the racial stuff you want. This does not play It does not apply. It does not work. You cannot get a single person to your side by making this argument. You can get people to your side by discussing why it is that illegal aliens get in-state tuition at colleges. A court ruling in favor of the Trump Department of Justice. It was a lawsuit targeting Oklahoma for allowing illegal aliens to claim in-state tuition at state universities. But if you live in another state and you're an American citizen, you pay more. That's just nutty, right? Those kinds of things will win people to your side. Saying you shouldn't be allowed to keep us safe, or how dare you keep us safe? Yeah, you're not going to gain new voters that way. You're just not. This is Tony Katz today. Oh, good Lord. Now, hold on. I was talking about power grid, power and energy and data centers. This is Joe. We need radio people, I'm assuming that means me, to quit talking about data centers being connected to the grid. They should apply themselves using local nuclear like SMR. The grid losses 50% of produced electricity during transmission. Large-scale users will use local production going forward. Yes, I'm not arguing this. Actually, I had a whole conversation with the governor of Indiana, Mike Braun, about this morning, about utilizing nuclear to be able to power these things. So I don't think you mean that radio people, and I assume you mean me. I assume that's just your way of saying you people should stop talking about it. What you're saying is, hey, don't forget in the conversation to make mention of. I think that's what you meant right there. That's my take on what you mentioned. Guys, I appreciate you being here. I really do. I've got to run. I got to go. We've got more radio. You go to WIBC.com and get that. And don't forget to get your tickets for myself and actor Nick Searcy on August 23rd from Hollywood to the Heartland. Tickets.tonykatz.com. You want to check that out. You want to be a part of that. Tickets.tonykatz.com. It's going to be such a good night. The bourbon, the barbecue, the cigars, the laughs. Oh, it's going to be terrific. Terrific. Can't wait to do it. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Be sure to check that out. You can listen to the live stream. The radio continues at WIBC.com. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you tomorrow, everyone. Take care.